without further ado, we're going to wrap up this evening with the man with the mostest, Sheb, who I think has had a haircut. Is that right, Sheb? You there, Sheb?
I am here.
You had a haircut?
I've had a trim.
Ah, okay. You've gone Calvert Lewin to Walcott now.
I've gone for the ponytail. Yeah, I've gone for the Gareth Bale / Griezmann / slash lockdown.
It's Tyron Walcott. Here he comes. So it's beat the bookies.
Beat the bookies. Yeah, definitely. Is your voice gone, or is it like me? Am I live? We're live. We're live.
You, Sheb, your big picture is live with your Italia shirt. Nice one.
Yep, this is from, well, it's not from back in the day, but you know when Italia 90 used to be on Channel 4 back in when, well, we didn't have Sky and whatnot. Yeah, Italian football, loved Italian football, fell in love with it. Still like it, you know.
I'm not old enough to remember that, mate.
Are you not? Oh, well, I'm just showing my age now, aren't I? Right, cool. So shall we get on with this then? Let's have a look. Which screen shall I share? So let me know which screen I'm sharing, please.
At the moment, it says it's got Premier League on there. Looking.
Oh yeah, is it show you what position I'm in or what leagues? I think Jamie Cook might want to take a quick look at this and might want some tips from me. Rank one.
The gloves are off. The gloves are off. Jamie, come up and give him a beating.
What can I do here? I'm sitting on top of the world over here. PBI MC. I think he had an old picture there where I was in 6th, but after yesterday's shenanigans, Salah, you know, got me a few points yesterday. Not far off the top now. I'm coming back on my way. But yeah, just thought I'd start with that. Cool.
You have got 2 teams though, Sheb, haven't you?
Yeah. But yeah, one's based off data and one's based off like just me doing it without data. Right. Okay, cool. Let's have a look then. So I'm gonna go over some beat the bookies tips and tricks, tips for the coming sort of Christmas period. I'm going to look at some games from this coming weekend and put together perhaps like an accumulator based on some of the data that I've got. But let's just quickly go through the sort of I guess journey that I've been on with this report. So let's start with this over here. Just wait a second. So we've got footy. So this started with this. So I started getting in some data from some places and I started creating some visuals, row count, you know, number of both teams have scored, etc., and things are all over the place. So anyway, quickly sort of moved on into a sort of footy v2. So I started organising the data a bit, and then I had like a selection down on the bottom left here where you can sort of select your team, so who's playing. So Villarreal are playing Real Madrid. And then it gives you a whole load of sort of figures based on, you know, their historic data. And so I used this for a while and see how things went, and I tried putting on some accumulators, but there just wasn't enough here. I needed a bit more because although it was looking at historic data, it wasn't taking in any sort of latest form, etc. And although this did give you quite a lot of information, so you know, percentage home wins, number of wins, average shots and goals, etc. It just wasn't working. So then I moved it on to another level. So then I revamped it a little bit. And so then I went for some key sort of areas then. So this one looks at, we're looking at here, Liverpool versus Man City. So the last sort of 10 matches they've had over the last sort of 10 seasons, 70% Liverpool home win. Let's have a look over here. So both teams have scored on 60% of occasions. On 80% of the occasions, there's been over 1.5 goals, over 2.5 goals on 70% of the occasions, and etc. And this is a result on both teams to score as well. So anything over around 40% is pretty good and worth a punt. So this is where you get a result on both teams score, and usually on the odds sort of side of things, that's quite sort of lucrative. And if you get a few of those, on a betting slip, they can be quite good for you returns. Then there was a lot more detail on there, so home goals, etc., home shots, how many on target, and then looked at sort of yellow cards, red cards, and the referee as well. Who's a referee? Is there a certain referee that gives more booking points than others, etc., etc. So then there was sort of some analysis on that as well, and then as well as that, then there was sort of booking points as well. So even though you got your number of yellow cards, number of red cards, then booking points is the thing that shows up on a lot of the betting sites nowadays. How many booking points, brackets, over, under, etc., etc. So this gives you an average between that fixture as well, as to what you can expect. Because you can expect Liverpool, Man City, Man U, Man City, Liverpool, Everton, those sorts of games are going to be quite fiery. So you might get a few more sort of cards in those. So then there was that, and then I moved it on to the next step. So from the analysis, I then moved it on, and then you can see at the bottom here, I brought in some more data tables and revamped the sort of middle bit here as well. So I got rid of some of the non-essential data that I was thinking at the time, and then I brought in some home forms. So now I'm looking at sort of home form for Liverpool and away form for the away team as well. So okay, now we're looking at the historic analysis. Excuse me. Looking at the historic analysis for Liverpool versus Wolves. I think away from that, let's just focus on what Liverpool are doing at home at the moment and their sort of form at home, and then away from home as well for Wolves. And it's interesting when Jamie was talking as well about no crowds this season, so it's a lot different, etc., etc. And he's right, it is quite different. And I noticed in the Leeds game, not this one, the one before, where they had a bit of a crowd, and suddenly they got onto the players' backs, and Leeds lost it a little bit at that point. So they do really sort of make a difference, and I have noticed a difference as well in the sort of data. But again, this gives me a more rounded sort of view then. So Liverpool's last 6 home fixtures, it goes back over a sort of couple of months. But it only looks at sort of their home fixtures and not the away ones. Okay, so then that was a limitation on this. So I needed to sort of change it around again and make sure I can get, more of a rounded view for home and away as well. I moved it on to the next step, and then I said, right, okay, well, I've got my form. Then I need to look at perhaps the position of the team as well. And granted, this hasn't been refreshed for a while, so some of these dashboards, the older ones, I've got old data in. But I started bringing in sort of season data, where the position was, etc. Would that sort of help you make a decision as to what you should do? And then there was also this as well. Now, this was a big thing as well, and I think it was James just mentioned a minute ago about sort of having goal scorers and injuries and those sorts of things in here. So this is a quick snapshot now. Then I thought, right, I found a source that gave me the goal scorers, the top scorers. Then it also gave me the injuries as well. So who's out for the team at the moment, and who's scoring the goals. For example, on the screen now, you can see Mane, Mohamed Salah, 14 goals. Last goal versus Southampton, he scored 3 braces, no hat tricks at the minute, etc., etc. So just a bit more info there, just to help you go on the way of making a decision there as well. So that was the sort of next step and going in from there. But then I still needed the away form. I've got the home form for the home team and the away form for the away team, but I need the away team's home form and the home team's away form as well to try and look at that, but not look at it together, because again, playing home and away, you can play differently. When Liverpool go over to Old Trafford, which I've noticed, they sit back. They don't really play their normal game. They sort of sit back at Old Trafford, and it's a lot different game than when they play, another ground. So I wanted to understand again, get that data separately and have a look at the home and away separately as well. So this brings me to the current version which I'm on at the moment, and it's quite long. So I've extended my my report. Now it's not built for anybody. It's built for me. So I don't really care about the layout. I'm not too bothered. I just want the data on the page. I don't want to have to, go out to another page, wait for it to load, etc., etc. I just want the data there, so I can just look at it, make a decision, and sort of move on. So let's have a look at this. Let's just put this into full screen a little bit. So now we're looking at Levante versus Sociedad, and I've got a couple of win prediction options here. So this is sort of based on their home form, their current form, and historic form against each other as well. So giving you a sort of prediction as to, based on those sort of figures, what their percentage win prediction is. And we've still got a historic analysis between the two teams up here. So again, the number of shots between it, etc. Over 1.5 goals, you can see here, 82% of the time over the last 11 matches has been over 1.5 goals. But then let's go down here and look at the Levante 2-month home form. Okay, so I've changed it from the last 6 games to the last 2 months, because 6 games, at home can last more than 2 months. And if you look at here, we've only got sort of, I think, 4 games is over the past 2 months at home. Okay, but in those games, 75% of the time both teams have scored, and 100% of the time they've scored over 1.5 goals. So that, coupled with the over 1.5 goals against Sociedad, sort of makes me think, actually, they might be onto one here. But let's go further down here. Now I've got my away form down here. So I had my home form, now I've got my away form down here. And again, 75% of the time of the last sort of 2 months home games or away games, they've scored over 1.5 goals as well. So looking at this, I'd probably say, Levante versus Sociedad. Let's just write this down. Levante versus Sociedad, over 1.5 goals. That's going on my sort of accumulator slip there as well. And again, if you look over to the right hand side, we've got Sociedad, and their home form for the past sort of 2 months, they've scored 100% of the time. They've scored over 1.5 goals. Slightly less, 50% on the away form, but everything else tells me that actually, yeah, there's going to be goals in this game. And I've noticed, actually, working with this data and sort of putting on different accumulators and different types of bets, that the over and unders, the sort of the bets that keep you in until the 90th minute are generally the better ones. So they keep you sort of, you get the option to then take a cash out, for example. So if it's under over a certain amount of goals, generally go over, because then you're in the game until the 90th minute and anything can happen. Otherwise, if you score and say, right, it's going to be under 2.5 goals, and then suddenly 3 goals in the first half, now that's it, done, you're out of the game then. So you want to stay in the game as long as possible, and so using the both teams to score and using the under overs, can be a good way of sort of bringing a good return. So again, let's have a look at this then. So let's have a look at tonight's game. Who have we got playing tonight? United playing who? Who are they playing? Can you remember?
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. Right, let's have a
Win. Bottom of the league.
look. Sheffield United.
Away wins in a row.
Okay, so Sheffield versus Man United. Okay, historically, well, United haven't been in the Sheffield United haven't been around for a while. So the last game they played was last year, and before that they didn't play for the last 10 years. But then let's look at the form. So the last 2 months away, you can see full-time result. Man U have won all the last sort of away games, 100% of the away games, scored both times, scored over 3.5 goals in every single game as well. Looking at full-time results, Sheffield United, not doing so well, lost 75% of the games, drawn 25% of the games. Away form, again, not won at all, lost 100% of the games. United, but at home, the last sort of 4 games have lost as well, against Chelsea, Arsenal, etc., etc. So let's have a look at this then. So this tells me that probably United are going to take it, especially with Sheffield United where they are, and scoring goals. So probably scoring, both teams not to score, because I don't think they might not score. But this one says they have scored, but it's only been 1 game. You can see Sheffield United only scored 0.5 goals on average for the past sort of number of games, and only 1 goal on average for the past sort of away games as well. So coupling that together is not really giving you, and it's giving you a sort of a poor percentage win prediction as well, with United 42% win prediction. So I would probably go with sort of United there, the Manchester one, unfortunately. Let's have a look at Roma versus Torino. So that's another game going on tonight. Now, I didn't mention the data that I've got in here. So the data that I've got in here is from UK, UK teams as well, but as well as Europe. I've got Italian leagues, got German leagues. We've got the sort of what's the Spanish league, the Liga, French league as well. All the sort of data from there as well in here. So tonight we've got Roma versus Torino, and you can see here in the last 9 matches, 89% of the time Roma take the win. They scored over 1.5 goals, each time in the game. Let's have a look what else there is. Away form, home form. They've won 75% of the last games. They've got big 71% win prediction as well. Both teams scored. You can see Torino for the last sort of 2 months away games they have scored, or there's been goals in both games. Now look at here as well. I mentioned before this was quite a lucrative one. So 56% percentage, chance of the home team and both teams scoring as well. So this would be one of the ones that I would actually say, yeah, it's Roma to win and both teams to score, because Torino have been scoring away as well, scoring average of 2 goals away from home and average of 1.8 goals at home as well. So definitely Roma versus, I'm just going to write that down because I'm going to place that, but Roma versus Torino, both teams score, results rush, I think that's what they call it, isn't it? All right, cool. So just to finish off, this weekend, quite a number of sort of games coming up, and I wanted to sort of pick out some of the key fixtures that I've had to look at as well. So if these are the ones, I'm going to sort of put a quick sort of accumulator on these, probably put a pound on it, which is what I do sort of each week, is try and test this out and test the waters. So I think Rangers versus Motherwell this weekend. Massive 91% win prediction. They've won 73% of the last sort of number of games as well between each other. They've won 100% of the last number of home games. They've won 100% of the away games as well. And so I think Rangers win, I think, is what I've put down for that one there. Sticking in Scotland, because Scottish leagues are quite good and actually work quite well, because they play so many games against each other, with them not being as varied teams as the UK, as England. Again, Ross County versus Hamilton, again, 80% of the time Ross County have taken that. They've scored over 1.5 goals there, and again the results on both teams to score is over 40%, so it's at 50%. So again, this would be a good option to go for this particular game. So results in both teams to score there. Then let's move over to Italia. So let's have a look. Sampdoria playing this weekend, and they are playing against a team called Crotone. Okay. And this one, the one that stuck out for me in this one is, in the last sort of 3 games, they've had 100% over 1.5 goals, 100% 1.5 goals, 100% over 1.5 goals in every single one of the games that they've played in the last sort of 2 months or so. So for this game, I think over 1.5 goals is a great shout for this particular match here. Let's move over to Spain, and let's go for Atletico Madrid. And they are playing, who are they playing? Atletico are playing, should I write this down for? Elche. I don't know, I think it's Elche. There we go. So again, massive 92% win prediction. They've won all the games against Elche. They've won the last 100% of home games, the last 4 or 5 that they played at home. 67% of away wins as well, whereas Elche have only won 25% of their last sort of games, both home and away as well. So I'd go for Atletico Madrid sort of win here.
Elche? You're Elche?
Is it Elche? How do you say it?
Elche.
Elche. Is it Elche?
I believe so.
You believe so?
Yeah, elk
Mm.
sounds like something mythical you find in a field.
Good one. Good one. Right, let's have a look. So let's move over to the Bundesliga. Köln, how do you spell Köln? K-O-L. There we go. FC Köln. Leipzig have been on it recently as well. So again, you can see the home form 100%. Away's not as great, but they're playing at home, so 100% away at home. They've won against this team and against other teams as well. They've been scoring goals. Both teams have scored in all games. 75% as well. Köln. But again, look at this results on both teams score. These are the ones that are going to get you, the better odds. So Leipzig versus Köln is a match and is a results rush again. So we've got a Leipzig win, both teams score. So that's that one there. Let's have a look what else I've got. So sticking with that, I've got Augsburg. Now, whilst you're all there, I don't know if there's been any comments, Ben, but if anyone's got any requests of any games coming up that they want some info on, get me the fixture and we'll see if we've got some time to go through it before the end there. Okay, Augsburg versus Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt. Okay, this one again, let's have a look. Over 1.5 goals. You can see over 1.5 goals in the last in all the sort of historic games between them. Over 1.5 goals, 100% of the time here as well. Over 1.5 goals away from home as well. Over 1.5 goals for Eintracht Frankfurt as well. So definitely going to be some goals in this game. I say definitely, no, it's not going to be any. But I think this, based on the data, we're all data people, is going to be over 1.5 goals in this particular game. Okay, let's come back to the UK and let's go to Brentford. Brentford versus Reading. So Brentford versus Reading. Let's have a look at this. So 50% win prediction. Both teams score 83% of the time. Both teams score 83% of the time. Over 1.5 goals. 1.5 goals. Yes, yes, yes. Why did I choose this one? Over 1.5 goals. Looking at this now, I think over 86%, 71%, 67, 83, 83. Reading. If I was I probably wouldn't go for this one. I was going to go and have a look at that, but I think I'm going to leave that one out for now. Okay, so I'm going to go one more game. Okay, and this time I'm going to go over to the French League, and I'm going to go Marseille versus Reims. Okay, this one again, looking at the current form, both teams have scored. Marseille are quite on form. Of a 71% win prediction There's no combo here, so there's no sort of both teams scoring sort of results rush there. But looking at sort of current form, it seems like Marseille with a 100% win record, but against each other, it's not as good a record as everyone else. But based on the current form and how they're playing at the moment, you'd probably give them Marseille the game there as well. So I'll go with the Marseille win there. Marseille versus Reims. Okay. Now, I'm just going to bring up my Ladbrokes page here, which I'm putting down my bets, and I'm going to put these bets on, and then I'm going to put a quid on it, and then we'll see how we get on and how good this actually is. Okay, so I've put some in already. So I've got Rangers in, Ross County, Hamilton. Okay, so I'm going to change this. I had it over 1.5. I'm going to change it to results rush. Yes, so let's change my coupon to match out both teams score. Not there. Weekly matches. Ross County, they are Scottish Premier. Match odd and both teams score. I'm going to go for a Ross County win and both teams score there. Okay, so the other both teams that score was a Leipzig one, so I'll put Leipzig down here. So let's find Leipzig this time again. And then put that on as well, because that's going to really boost our sort of numbers there. Put a couple of result rush offers there. So Leipzig, German, Bundesliga. Let's have a look. FC Köln. Match odd, both teams score. Leipzig. Okay, cool. So that's in there. Ross County, Leipzig. Let's see what else I wanted to put in there. Levante versus Roma versus Torino. Marseille versus Reims. That was the one. Let's have a look. So let's go Marseille versus Reims.
Rennes, not Reigns. Rennes, I think. Excuse my northern twang.
Excuse my northern twang. Marseille versus Reims, did you say?
Rennes. Oh, I can't see the screen. Is it R-E-I-N-S?
R-E-I-M-S.
Yeah, Rem. But no doubt one of our esteemed listeners will correct all of our pronunciations.
Okay. Where's Levante? What's his Levante? Lazio, Napoli. Leverkusen. Right, let's have a look. Brentford, Reading, Augsburg, Frankfurt. So I think I've got enough in here now. So I've got a number. I've got 8 selections there. Let's click on boost. Just give it a little boost. 56 to 1. That's a guarantee. That's a guaranteed £56. I'm putting this £1 on there, and I'm going to place that bet right now. There we go. That's how much trust I have in my system. I'm putting my hard-earned money into this as well. Okay. Do we have any
If you don't come back tomorrow, Sheb, we'll know it's because you've won millions.
I've won £56. I might get a takeaway on the weekend. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm just about done, Ben. Unless there's anything you want me to cover.
There's no massive questions. Nobody wanted you to put a bet on for them. There's no queries. John, good to see you, John. Villa versus Burnley, still 0-0 in the 62nd minute. What did you have? Can you do as a prediction for Villa Burnley, please, for tonight?
Well, 13 minutes left. I think still 0-0.
Is it Villa versus Burnley? Let's have a look.
Might be time to cash out, John.
Yeah, let's have a look. Aston Villa, they've won at home, or the last sort of 3 or 4 home wins. Nothing really stands out. Over 1.5 goals doesn't really sort of work for all parties involved. Only for Aston Villa at home, but not for. You see, Burnley don't really score much, or in their games there hasn't been that much there. Both teams haven't scored 100% of occasions in Burnley's games, so it could be that one of them don't score. So if there is an option for that, then that would be a good one as well. I think I did notice that earlier. I thought that's a good one because Burnley aren't scoring. They've only scored 0.5 goals on average per game for the last sort of 7 games. And so, that would have been mine for both teams not to score on that one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the stats from this game. Villa have had 24 shots on goal, 7 on target and 17 off target. So they are knocking on the door with 12 minutes to go. And John,
if they do win, then
John just mentioned an 84th minute winner. That's where his money's gone.
Yeah, I'd expect a 1 or 2-0 win. I'd say for that if I was predicting it now. Yeah.
I think John's put on his comment 1-0. 1-0 in the 80th minute, I think, or 85th minute, I guess, to Burnley is what he's after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good luck with that one, John. Get that bet on now.
Go on, John.
Nothing more from me, Sheb, except of course, why don't you just pick out that if I know everyone likes to look at the stats, but in some respects, do you look at it and it just kind of gives you the B people that are going to win on yours? I'm sure I saw that earlier.
Yeah, you mean like a win percentage?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
can't you just pick out the top games, the top 10 games this weekend with the greatest win percentage?
And the lowest odds.
And the lowest odds, yeah.
Yeah, because the higher the percentage, the win percentage, the lower the odds are.
Yeah, and of course, in some respects, you then just the bookies have already priced that in, haven't they?
Yeah, and you're right, and that'd be a great thing to get to. But if you think about this, the data that I've got is all match data, and so I guess having a list of home teams and having a list of away teams and having them all have the data connected to each other and getting that data and looking at it just in like one view is quite challenging, which is probably the next sort of step to go to. I guess wanting to go one by one, focus on game at a time, which is what you do online. And when you do take a good look for a bet, you take one at a time and take your time to sort of do it and analyze it and look at it.
Myself and Sheb had this chat during a rain break at the Ashes last year when he was showing me his dashboard about the best bets when I used to bet a couple of years back was the over 2.5 goal trebles, the goal and both teams to score and win games, and that's where you kind of can bump up your accumulators. For example, Liverpool this season won a lot of home games, but they've conceded in I think all but maybe one or two of their wins at home. So if you're putting a bet with Liverpool at home, you possibly against a top 15 team that they might concede. Or they conceded against Sheffield United, they conceded against West Ham, conceded against Tottenham last night, Leeds.
Yeah, it happens when you get your 70 million pound defender taken out by well, let's not go into it, shall we?
And he didn't even get a red card, did he, the keeper? Shocking. Should have been sent off.
Goodness me. But no, we've fared well, haven't we? Fared well since top of the league. Hashtag just saying.
Thank you very much, Sheb.
No worries, thanks.
Am I right in thinking we've got a winner to announce for the Lunch and Learn comp feedback form? Bear with me a second. I
was supposed to announce it like ages ago, but I've been on holiday and forgotten about it.
just checking my WhatsApp from earlier you sent me. Bear with me a second, Sheb. Yep. Oh, Pascal Kiefer.
Yes.
I believe Pascal's actually watching tonight. I'm
Is
sure
he watching?
He emailed me earlier, said he was watching and sent me a LinkedIn request. So I believe Pascal is watching. What's his prize? It's
a Lunch and Learn t-shirt, which I'd love to show him, but I haven't got it with me. It's a Lunch and Learn t-shirt. So Pascal, if you're there, send me your size, get in touch, and we'll get that shipped out to you wherever you are.
Whilst you're on, Sheb, can you share your browser and show me who's top of the fantasy league?
Oh yeah. How come?
Because we've got a prize winner for the first third of the FPL season.
Oh, what?
So it's not including.
Come on. Like, how come it's like first 12 weeks? I was in first 6 weeks when I was top.
Can you share the screen? Because I'm currently showing my face, I believe.
Do I need to share again?
Yeah, just share your
Ben. Are you there?
Here we go. Just like that. I believe, based on points before tonight's this game week, it was Mr. Phil Armstrong.
Big Phil.
Yeah.
Big Phil.
Phil Armstrong. So Phil Armstrong, I'll have a chat with him. He's either got the option of winning a £30 gift voucher to spend at Classic Football Shirts, or £30 to buy himself a Power BI book or a book from Amazon, so an Amazon voucher. So well done, Phil. We will be doing another prize for game week 26. Yeah, so if you're on top of the tree at game week 26, Sheb, you could be in for another prize, and then there'll be another prize at the end of the season, and I'll probably do a proper wooden spoon prize, best team name, and the winner. So I'll have a few giveaways, and that'll be in May time. But thank you very much to everyone that has presented tonight. So to Ryan. If Ryan's still here, I think Ryan's probably getting himself a dinner before United starts. Thank you to Ryan.
Cheers.
Ryan, I will help you source an authentic Man United away shirt rather than your retro remake from China. Thank you. Thank you very much to James. I think James has gone. To James Best. Thank you very much. Thank you to Jamie again.
No, I'm here. Thank you for inviting me.
Apologies. Thank you. Obviously, hope Palace have a good season. Ultimately, when they don't play Everton, so hopefully we'll do double over you when we do the return fixture. But good season with Palace. Thank you very much for the presentation, and well done for winning the competition. It was a fantastic dashboard. I will share the dashboard link to all the guys' news groups. They can have a look at it and have any questions for you. Thank you very much to Jamie. As always, fantastic presentation. Thank you for your tips and advice with regards to FPL. I hope people will take them on board ahead of the new wildcard in January, I believe. So thank you very much for that. Thank you to Sheb.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, I'll have you back again. Don't you worry, mate. There'll be I'm sure there'll be a end of season FPL catch up. As I've still got to source my speakers for 2021. That is my to-do list for January will be to line up speakers and venues as and when we can return to face-to-face sessions. And finally, thank you to Sheb, as always, for his insight and information on tips and tricks with upcoming games this Christmas. Thank you to everyone who has attended the sessions this year. As I said, we've had, I'd say, about 30 or more sessions with the Lunch and Learn. So thank you to Sheb and Ben and Lewis for putting those together over the lunchtimes from April onwards. We've had 3 series of fantastic talks. All those sessions, as I sent on the announcement yesterday, email, they're on YouTube, so you can watch back all those sessions. Thanks to Ben for uploading those. All the sessions we've done from March via webinar on Power BI Manchester have been saved to the YouTube as well, so you can watch back all those at your own leisure. We'll be back in January, so I'll be doing a session at the end of January and with speakers to be confirmed. I will be reaching out far and wide as always. I'll try and get the guy in the cube, Marco Rosso, all those kind of superstars, but also anyone that wants to present, please get in touch. Please also get in touch with Sheb if you want to get involved with Lunch and Learn sessions. I'm sure he's keen to get season 4. Have you guys got any plans for season 4 in terms of a date for those yet, or is it to be concerned?
It's going to be back end of January. But yeah, the details will be released, keeping it under wraps for the time being.
But yeah, before I wrap up, just wish everyone who is part of the youth group and has attended and watched our sessions a very, very merry happy Christmas. I know it's been a tough year for people, but it's going to be a positive Christmas. Enjoy with your family. Have a very good season's greetings to everyone, and I look forward to catching up with you face to face in the new year. And if you are looking for a new job, drop me a CV, drop me a LinkedIn request, and if your company is recruiting, just mention in passing that who the hiring manager is, what the job you've got. It doesn't have to be BI, it could be IT, finance, marketing. Rob Walters can cover most of those areas. So cheap plug for myself, but thank you very much. I'll wrap up now. So thank you to Ben, Sheb, Jamie, James, and Ryan. Have a great Christmas, guys, and I will see you next year.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Have a good Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.